Hey guys, Mr. Lloyd here. Going to work with you today on Tuesday, May 19th. We're going to work through this page that you see straight out of the packet, this page that you see on screen. And we're going to go through it and talk about how to solve the problems, talk about the concept of quartiles, and answer a couple questions on this video, and then we'll move on to the next video. So we'll start at the top here. Yesterday, Monday, we worked on the concept of range, which is variability, greatest to least, quick subtraction. Remember, range is pretty straightforward to calculate. Doesn't take a whole. It's a very simple calculation. Doesn't take a whole lot of steps, and we find it just by simply subtracting the smallest number from the largest number in the data set. Okay. Today, what we're going to be looking at is this concept of quartiles, and quartiles is basically just a way, as you can see here. I'm not going to reread all what's typed up on the page here because I know that you guys can read just fine. The important thing about the concept of a quartile is that if you look down here, they've divided this data set. Let me bring this up a little higher. They've divided this data set into 4 groups. And the quart, the prefix quart should kind of signal to your brain, oh, that means 4, like quarter, 4 quarters in a dollar. And so quartiles just divide data sets into 4 equal-sized groups. And this is a useful thing because sometimes we want to know, if we're looking at data sets, we want to know, does this value belong in the first quartile, the second quartile, the third quartile, or the fourth quartile? This is kind of a way to organize data, just one more tool to organize data and to make a little bit better sense of it. Okay, so that's the concept of quartiles. We'll explore that quite a bit here. Let me show you what we're supposed to do for our challenge problem today, and we'll look at the concept of quartiles a little bit more here. So we were asked to get all the ages for our family members and then divide it into quartiles accordingly based on the data set. So these are the ages here of my family. The important thing when you do this, the first important thing when you're trying to divide data into quartiles is that you want to list it in order from smallest to largest. So of course, one person's 8 years old, another person's 9 years old, and so on. All of these represent ages of people in my family. And then I need to divide it into the first quartile, the third quartile, and then I always want to find the median as well. So the median here would be 36. Remember, I just list it from smallest to largest, so I just find that median, that's my central or my middle number. And then my first quartile here, to find out which number, for my data set, the value is 11, but to find out which one marks the first quartile, I need to look at it and say, okay, if the median divides the data in half, left and right, then if I'm just looking at the left side of the data, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So if I take the third value, which is 11, and I mark that, then on the left side of 11, there's 2 values, and on the right side of 11, there's 2 values. So we have 8 and 9 and 34 and 34. So 11 marks our first quartile. We divide it right down the middle there. And then we do the same thing on the right side of our median. On the other side, we do the same thing. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values as well. And so the middle value here, right down the middle, we divide it at 63. And that marks our third quartile. So there are 2 values here and 2 values here. So the concept of quartile is just dividing something up into 4 equal-sized parts. In this case, dividing a data set into 4 equal-sized parts. Okay, let's look at the next page. So this is just simple. This is just going to give us some practice with quartiles. And we're just going to be looking at the first and the third here. So they do a nice job. They give you this little data set here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they find the median for you. Our job then is to just think conceptually, how many parts did I divide when I marked? Imagine if I marked with my pen here all the way in between 6 and 7, right at 6.5. If I mark it, there's a left side and there's a right side, so there are 2 equal parts. Okay. And then here they just give you a demonstration of what a quartile is with the same exact data set, 1 through 12. And the first quartile is marked right here in between 3 and 4, or 3.5. And remember, the way they found this, the way this is discovered, is you take a look at the median divides it into 2, and then the first quartile is just looking at the data on the left side of the median, and we also divide it in 2, and they have to be equal sized parts. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values. So we have to find the middle part, the middle value here, and that's right in between 3 and 4, or 3.5. The way I calculated that, in case you didn't know that 3.5 is exactly halfway between 3 and 4, if you add 3 and 4, you get 7. If you divide 7 by 2, you get 3.5. So in case you didn't know how to do that, that's the method to find that out with absolute accuracy. Okay? Look below at the numbers to the right of the median. So here we're going to take the same concept we did with the first quartile. Now we're going to use it for the third quartile. Same set of data, similar process. Median divides it into left and right halves. Let's look at only the right half for this part. The right half here has values from 7 to 12. That's 6 total values. So right in between those would be our dividing line, which gives the left side and the right side equal portions. So 7, 8, 9, and then in between 9 and 10 is where we mark that. To find what that value equals, the third quartile, the mark would be 9 plus 10, which is 19. 19 divided by 2 is 9.5. And so that is our third quartile marker. That's what represents our third quartile. Okay? All right, that's all the time I'm going to have for this video. I'm going to keep it a little bit short. On the next video, I'll go over the last page of the day's work. Thank you for watching. Please keep the questions coming through YouTube comments, through our Google Classroom, through Zoom meetings, text, phone calls, emails, Remind, lots of different ways to get in touch. Let's finish the year strong. Keep the questions coming. Thanks for working hard, and I'll see you guys later.